Hey guys, it's Vanity, Ezel for Vanguard, as in the Vanity Weekly Reviews. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and sorry. So hopefully you're not hearing the whirring of my computer in the background, because for some reason it's overheating. But today we are going over our last few reviews for DZ Set 7, starting off with, of course, a very random Avant-Garde card, which just makes me immediately think Avant-Garde has got to be in the American branch happening overseas in the Deluxe, and that is Annihilation Strategy Mass Funeral. Grade 2 set order is set for free, set order strategy, after set order is played, put to your order zone. Auto, when it's put into your soul from your order zone, you get one of the following to end of the turn. Either at the end of the battle, your Vanguard attack, if it is the first battle of that turn and the attack did not hit, search attack with one grade 3 or greater Avant-Garde, reveal it, put it to hand, shuffle the deck. Or, when your Vanguard will be rode upon, the riding unit is placed by getting all the trigger effects and abilities gained from strategy orders you Vanguard got this turn. All around pretty solid because it gives the effect to you, the player, not the Vanguard itself, which is great, so even if you do superior ride, it doesn't lose the ability. But the best part is that any of these abilities are hard ones per turns, meaning if you found a way to just continue, I mean, granted, like this one specifically is the first battle of the turn, so you're not going to proc it off more than once. But this ability, if for some reason they gave Avant-Garde a way to superior ride again, you'll be able to get more trigger effects and still all the effects of strategy order the previous one got. So I do like Mass Funeral a lot. I think it's a very solid set order for them, and it's another strategy, so I think it's a good 3 of. That touches over to Mortar Dragon Vasagmos. Grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, all in place on rear guard circle or put on the guard circle. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 grade Equilibra, it gets 5,000 power and 5,000 shield to end of turn. So 15k base, 10k shield is great. You know, it's a really cool looking Dino Dragon. Would have been a damn shame if, I don't know, this went to Spinal Marquee, but whatever. And then Overcharge, auto rear guard. When this unit is chosen by the ability of your grade 3 grade Vanguard, Equilibra in its card name, choose an opponent's rear guard until end of turn. It cannot intercept, and this unit gets 5,000 power. So cool, it gets 5,000 from Equilibra skill, it gets another 5,000 from itself, and it locks down an opponent's interceptor, which means it locks down a card that they can use to guard, which is great because that's just the same thing as pretty much getting extra 5k that most other ones would do, which honestly, I like Valgamus a lot. It's really good to turn its place because either way, it's getting pretty much the same numbers it would get if it was an Equilibra normal support card, but also it's locking down your opponent's interceptors while also being a 10k shield, making good for both offense and defensive reasons, so it's a solid 3/4 for me in an Equilibra deck. That takes us to Kagura Bell, the Pure Land. Grade 3 set orders play, put it to your order zone. You know, this looks, the second was funny because last week, or the week this was revealed, I was actually finishing up watching all the Buddy Fight series again, and I just so happened to be watching the episode where, like, they debuted the Electro Deity deck, and whoop-de-doo, here's the item card from it. Anyways, act order zone, soul boss want to rest it to choose my rear guards and it gets 5,000 power for the turn. Cool, if you have extra soul and you want to rest this card, it gives your unit a 5k boost. It's generic, so you can run it in a lot of decks, should you. Iffy, because it's a soul blaster, and a lot of cards from Dragon Empire do use soul, but I mean, if you have extra soul lying around, someone gets 5k, so you know, it's a solid 2 of, maybe 3 of. I would not push the past that, though. That takes us to our new Bad Saga line, which got everyone hyped, and this is one of the few decks that I really love how they did upgrades for, because not only did they upgrade the main grade 3, they upgraded the entire OG ride line, putting Bav in the exclusive club whose OG ride line was actually upgraded. I think the only ones that have that treatment are Barrow Magnus, Nirvana, Eugene, and what was his name, Zorga. I think those are the only ones that have, oh, and Alden, technically, quote unquote. But yeah, anyone from there is pretty much the only ones that have actually had their ride line upgraded. So oh no, and Magnolia, those are the only 6 that have had their ride lines upgraded. So pretty cool that Bad Saga can join them. So Steel Blaze Dragon Arisha server, grade 0 boost, 5k shows, 6k base, all in a row upon your second draw card, standard start, and that's about it. But the thing that's really cool is how they upgraded Namorikar. Namorikar is busted, and so is the rest of the ride line. Steel Blaze Dragon Namorikar Anui, grade 1 boost, 5k showed, 8k base, in similar fashion to his OG version. If you place him by riding from the new grade 0, so don't try to run the old grade 0, but if you place him by riding from the new grade 0, Soul Blast 1, and reveal a Sealed Blaze Sealed Blaze of Arbitration, Basagra Asaska, so now you get to reveal the grade 3 as well from the ride deck, and if you do, you perform one of the following, and then you shuffle your deck. But if you went second, you perform all the following instead of just one. So you either search your deck for the new sword, Sealed Blaze Sword Divia from the deck and add it to your hand, or you search your deck for the new shield, Sealed Blaze Shield Bone Tata from your deck and add it to your hand, or again, if you went second, you just add both, which is pretty cool that it adds both of your 2 busted orders to your hand instead of just one. Following contains rear guard circle if your Vanguard's armed with 2 or more cards in it. Again, specifying 2 or more arms. We didn't get support for this set that allows Bav to have 3 arms, but even now we're still getting that thing. Anyways, he'll get 2k power during both players' turns, which is great because Onamorikar got 2k specifically on attack. So being able to keep that 2k not just during your turn but your opponent's turn, and being able to do it whether he's attacking or not, it's just really good. So alright, I like Namorikar Nui a lot. You don't need him in your main deck because you can Superior Calm out with Bav Sagra, but again, he honestly has nice pressure. Like, they did really good with upgrading this card, getting the 2 orders and being a 10k base. Moving on to our Sealed Blaze Shield Batata. So, grade 3 normal order arms, lefty arms, Sealed Blaze of Arbitration, Bav Sagra Saska. So, after being played, to specify Vanguard, arm it. If your new lefty arms is armed while this card is on the Vanguard circle, put it to drop zone. So, play it by counterblasting 1, so it's the same cost as the OG Shield. Auto Vanguard when this card's armed, draw a card. Cool. So it takes the skill of the spear. The thing I like is that the shield and the sword actually took the skills from the gun and the spear from Bav, which means the original weapons took part of the skills from the weapons that were meant to quote-unquote replace them or work in tandem with them, which I think is cool. Anyways, when it's armed, draw a card, and then Auto Vanguard once per turn. When the armed unit is attacked, that armed unit gets 10,000 power for the battle, or you can Soul Boss 1 and give it 20k instead. Honestly, good. That's a free 10k every turn like the OG shield used to be. But now if you have an extra soul laying around, plus 20. Best part is that draw isn't once per turn, so you can keep spamming that with cards that allow you to superior arm and a very specific axe that allows you to play super aggressively with this deck while still being able to arm this at the end of the turn and just get more hand cards and play defensively. So Vanity is a very great shield. You only need 1 copy of it because you're going to auto search it off of Vanity whether you went second or not, and then you're just going to eat into drop zone and then get it back because this thing is busted. So yeah, 1 of. And then we have our Sealed Blaze Shore Devaya. So this is my favorite one of the 2 to spam. So it's a grade 3 normal order arms, right? DD arms, Sealed Blaze of Arbitration, Pasagra Askaka. After being played, put it to Vanguard arm or whatever. And then play it by counterblasting 1. So this one's a counterblast 1 as well as the shield. So both of them are CBs. So Auto Vanguard, when this card is armed, choose one of your Vanguards, and it contains Vanguard, all your farmer gets 5,000 power for the turn. So it gives half the power that the OG Sword and Spear did, but that gives the Vanguard a stackable ability that continues will give the front row 5k every single time you arm this. Bav arms for free. Ball it technically arms for free. You have that one grade 1 that can arm. That's a total plus 15k to your front row right there. So yeah, if you're willing to spend all your resources on, not even all your resources, like a small amount of your resources, you could honestly do this consistently every turn. So plus 15k to front row is great. And then Auto Vanguard, when the armed unit attacks into a grade 3 or greater, simply hands down making this the best arm that's ever existed. You may have the armed unit get plus 1 drive for the battle. If you do at the end of that turn, not end of the battle like the gun or the sword would do, at the end of that turn, put this card to drop zone. Why is this important? Because that means if you sack the over, you can restand the Vanguard, and because the triple drive, even though it only lasts for the battle, the sword is still applicable, and the sword is also no cost attached to it, you can swing with the Vanguard again and get another triple drive. And because it's staying on the Vanguard circle, anything that requires 2 arms will still proc because the sword is still on the Vanguard circle. Free 5k to front row, which can be armed for free via 2 different cards in the deck, followed by free triple drive, which could turn into sextuple drive. 4 of. Don't need to explain more. Then we have, this is what you do to upgrade a grade 2. You see, Namor Karanui was busted because they gave it the ability to search 2 cards. This does its job even better. These 2 work so well in tandem together. Sealed Blaze, Dragon, and Haley Baldra, Bollet. Grade 2, Intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. I love how his wings are now like golden blue. Anyways, auto when rode upon by Sealed Blaze of Arbitration, Bav Sagra Saska, Counterblast 1, search deck containing any 2 arms with different card names from each other, ditch them both, and then shuffle the deck. After that, you choose an arms from your drop zone, arm it to your Vanguard. We'll sit on that for a second. Second skill is literally the exact same as before. Auto rear when attacks into anything, if your Vanguard's armed, it gets 5,000 power for the battle. Okay, so the 5k swing didn't change. Here's the thing though. This thing went from bounce an arm back to your hand on place to instead being on rode upon, spend a CB, ditch 2 arms, so the shield that you added to your hand is fine, you probably ditched it later, but then you can search your deck for your spear, for your sword, and then the axe that can rearm the shield from drop zone, put them both into drop zone, then arm yourself with the sword, give your front row 5k, and then thanks to Bav Sagra over here, call out Trick Move from your drop zone and make Bollet free, meaning you decked then, if you went second, 4 cards from your deck, followed by getting the same amount of resource out of it anyways. Fun. This card is busted. They knew what they were doing with this. 1 of in the ride deck. Too good. And then, of course, we have our amazing grade 3, who, again, I love how she isn't just does her own thing. Like, she's just a strict upgrade. Like, you can see instances of her OG skills in all of them, and I love it. So, Sealed Blaze of Arbitration, Bavsagra Asaska, grade 3, 2% 13k base. Continues Vanguard, she's also regarded Sealed Blaze made in Bavsagra. Basically, what that means is all of her arms can be, and all of her previous support cards that name restrict her, mainly OG Trick Moon and, the original shield, original sword, etc., they can all be used with this new Bavsagra as long as her skill maintains intact. Blagdemeyer. But the new shield and sword wouldn't be able to go to Bavsagra because they do actually specify the new one. Following that, 3 skills, all of which are upgrades from her previous 3 skills. So not even 3 previous 3 skills, 2 of them are previous 3 skills, and then 1 is literally what she should have had to begin with. Act Vanguard once per turn. Yeet any hand card to soul. So even if you're in a losing position and you just top deck a trigger and is not helpful to you at all, send that trigger to soul, choose any arm to your drop zone, arm it to this unit. Doesn't matter if you're already armed with something, doesn't matter what you send to soul, you could just draw a random card, yeet that card into soul, arm the sword from the drop zone at 5k to your front row. And it does it for free, which means you don't even have to pay the CP for that. Cool. And then, so it gets you soul and it gets you an arm. And then act Vanguard once per turn if you're armed with 2 or more cards. Again, spending 2 or more. Soul Blast 2, retire your opponent's front or rear guard, and then it gets +1 crit for the turn. So it does the exact same thing as the OG Bav. However, if nothing was retired, draw a card. Granted, you would OG Bav anyways, still use a Soul Blast 2 to get a crit, because crit pressure is a thing. But now, if nothing was retired, you get a draw. Downside is that does put you a little bit closer to deck out, but I mean, hey, at least there's still more benefit than just only getting a crit. And then finally, the revival skill of her revival skill, Auto Vanguard, once per turn, when this unit is armed, energy charge 1, choose a grade 1 less from your drop zone, call it to rear guard circle. If you chose a Vilord with its card name, you may overdress on top of Trick Moon on rear guard instead of calling it. So, get a free energy, which actually does make the difference in getting to energy boss 7 more consistently, and you either get a Trick Moon / a grade 1 or less, or you just overdress a Vilord, which you couldn't do before because Vilord wouldn't be able to be overdress called. I don't need to tell you why this is good. I love how she originates as still the OG Bav. She can now arm what she should have done to be able to do from begin with, because now you can arm twice in a turn without having to need other support cards. She still maintains her crit skill for the same cost, except has an extra benefit if nothing dies. And on top of that, she still maintains her superior call ability, except it changes to energy instead of soul, because you're going to get a soul off her skill anyways, and it allows you to overdress. Good card all around. They knew what they were doing when upgrading this. That takes us over to Dancing Princess of Elegant Flames. Farin, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, aka base. Auto when she's put into soul by your card's ability during your turn. It can be by any means. It can be like hard soul charged, or it could just be sent to soul via an effect such as Bavsagra skill. Anyways, choose, if your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater Bav, choose one of your units gets 5,000 power for the turn, so cool, someone gets 5k. And it gets soul charged by any means, so if you use OG Bav to soul charge her via her own effect, there you go. And then auto rear guard, as the battle actually boosted, if your Vanguard's armed with 2 or more cards, energy boss 2, bounce to the hand. Cool, allows you to recycle your 5k shield that you probably caught from drop zone, and allows you to have a 5k shield again for either for next turn, or discard fodder, or send a soul fire for Bavsagra or Sashka. So either way, Farin, go to grade 1. You don't want too many from your deck, but it's a solid 2 of. And that takes us over to card I'm half disappointed in, because I'm glad Bav got a restander, but it feels weird that Bav was one of the only few decks that didn't necessarily need a restander, and they gave her one anyways. But Sealed Blaze Dragon Yagamashad. So grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. I'm gonna ignore the first skill for a second. So auto rear guard once per turn at the amount of your Vanguard, Bavsagra's card name attack. If your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 guard to CB1 stand it. I like how it works with both Bavs, meaning you can just, stand 2 of them in the front row if you have 2 CB, which is great. And then the other skill, which I really love, auto when placed on rear guard circle from the hand. If your Vanguard's a grade, if your Vanguard is a Sealed Blaze unit, Energy Blast 3, ditch and arms, draw 2 if the Vanguard's at grade, if the opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, it gets 5,000 power. So cool, 15k base if the opponent's at grade 3 or greater. But here's the important part. This Sealed Blaze ability, A, that means it's allowed to work on grade 2 because all your grade 2s will have Sealed Blaze in the card name. But B, if they ever choose to make a, Sealed Blaze main grade 3 that is not Bavsagra, they can use this card and then just use arms as discard fodder to draw 2 more. Yagamashud is a very good grade 2. It gets you hand cards, 15k base, and is a restander. 4 of. Also, in my match against my friend yesterday, when I was playing with Bavsagra, I consistently got 3 Vilords to the back row, and I kept swinging for 70k thanks to Yagamashud. So yeah, take that as you will. Then we have Overwhelming Fan Service Waimi. So feels like the loser of this set with the, what's it called? support cards for the DZZ star bosses with Sarvalso. I think I said it last time that there will always be like one loser from the set when it comes to those 6, and it seems like Sarvalso's loser of the set because Marlene's got some good cards here. So Waime, grade 2 and set 5 Kishio 10k base, auto rearguard. When your other unit is placed on rearguard circle by the ability of your Vanguard during your battle phase, shove her to soul, choose a Vanguard, get 5 less power for the turn. So your Marlene, I mean, it's not specifically Marlene, but like most likely Marlene will be at 23k base from her own skill plus the 5k from this, so 28k. Then if your Vanguards are grade 3 gear with Marlene, counter boss 1 to draw a card and then choose up to 1 grade least card from your hand called to rearguard circle. So now Marlene has 5 attacks. Cool. And it only takes you 1 CB to do that, and it actually gets you a soul in the process, and it allows you to draw. So all around pretty good for that. So that makes her 4 of. As for the card you now want to call either from her ability or from Marlene's ability, Secret Upset Satchel. So grade 2 and set 5 Kishio 10k base. I love how her back has like the lyrical monasterio symbol on it. Anyways, auto placed on rearguard circle in the front row during your battle phase. If your Vanguards are grade 3 guard to Marlene, Soul Boss 1 to choose one of your other rearguards and combat master, stand her. So she doesn't gain power, but she stands the unit behind her, meaning, you know, the unit you most likely call off of Royme because it doesn't gain power will be Satchel, who will stand the unit behind her so you can get 2 boosters, while the unit you call from Marlene could have already boosted because Marlene's going to give the called unit plus 10. All around, Satchel is really great for restanding columns and comboing really well with Waime because, again, it gets you more attacks and it gets you more power out of it as well. And honestly, Marlene hits some pretty good support cards this set, and to think I was dreading her getting her reveals, so I'm kind of glad she got her reveals towards the end because they definitely saved, in my opinion, either the best or one of the best ones for last. And it's very sad to say that Sarvalso lost out on this one because I actually do like Sarvalso the most out of the group.
And on to our last reveals for the week, which will undoubtedly be followed up by another random reveal for next video when I eventually do miss a card from this. So first up, we have new units from the Skyride Trial decks. For the Vergilia one, we have Dawn of the End Endweight and Flare Cosmer. So we're seeing the Energy Charger get an upgrade and this really cool new grade 2, but I'm more focused, I'm assuming it's a grade 2, but I'm more focused on the news from the Stoic KO one. So we have presumably the main grade 3 in Legend of the Four Seasons Exxon, which is a pretty cool sounding name for a dragon that looks, okay, to be fair, it kind of looks iffy, but it's manga style. And then we have its 4 support cards: Rosdenda of Spring, Ignacio of Summer, Grandial of Autumn, and Sotafarso of Winter. Honestly, these are all pretty cool. I like the thing that they're all dragons, and my favorite thing about it is that they're all of the 4 seasons. And the only one thing that could have made this better is if all these dragons were based off of like the original Overtriggers, mainly because I see Asfario in this one and I see Bus Favor in this one, but it would be really fun if like they were all based off of the Overtriggers, I'm just saying. Now we have our new Lyrical Monasterio line. First up, we have Heap Up Octaver Proeta, auto wrote upon if you win second draw card. It's standard starter in Death Espada. Unfortunately, you are going to have to run it in the new Lyrical Monasterio deck because your grade 1 actually does require it. So Dynamic Exciter Esteria, auto when placed by riding from Heat Up Octave Proeta. Reveal a grade 3 with a Strider card name from your ride deck. If you do, you search after 1 sound system card, reveal it, put it to hand shuffle deck. So you search your deck for your, order cards, which is great, and I mean, you only have to reveal a card in your ride deck and run a specific starter, so not too bad. Moving on to Witching Vibrato Leafiel, grade 2 set 5 Kishio 10k base. She's the exact same effect as the grade 1. Auto placed by writing from Dynamic Exciter Asteria. Reveal a grade 3 card with a Tessa in this card name from the ride deck. To search your deck for 1 South System card, reveal it, put it to hand shuffle deck. Okay, again, to get you a South System card, there's not much to say about it. It's kind of naff that these share the exact same skill verbatim, but it is what it is. Moving on to our South System cards. First up, we have Shout and Shadow. So I actually like the fact that Rovan, I think her name was, didn't use the, or not Rovan, Suzanne didn't use this card in the match because her directive in the match was to actually dominate Senka, and she didn't use this card. We saw her drive check it and send it to drop zone. In fact, she only ever used this one, which is pretty cool. But anyway, Shout and Shadow, continuous, it cannot be played, and it cannot be put into your order zone other than by the ability of your unit with Artissa in its card name. Auto put into the order zone, draw a card, and call it to 1 Shadow and retoken. So cool, you get you a rear guard, you get you a hand card, it does it for free. The downside is you cannot set this card into your order zone unless you're playing it by an effect, which is a little bit annoying because that means you can only play 1 order per turn thanks to Artissa over here. But if you want to front load your deck with a bunch of random set orders and normal orders, you can, though it's not recommended since you're probably already playing a good chunk of this in the other order, but take that as you will. And then we have Polyphonic Overdrive Artissa, grade 3 to personal 13k base. So not surprise, this deck can lock thanks to the knowledge of this looking like a Link Choker unit. So contains Vanguard during your turn. If your order zone has 2 or more sound systems in it, this unit gets a crit, so double critical, not too hard to get. Then act Vanguard once per turn, Energy Blast 2. Choose a sound system from your hand or drop zone, put it to order zone. If you want, put a card from the hand, draw a card. So if you do end up putting a card from your hand, you get to replace the card you put. It only costs 2 energy, so you're going to be able to use that every single turn, which is great. And then auto Vanguard once per turn, when attacks on anything by counterblasting 1, call up to 1 Shadow Army token for every sound system in your order zone, and then your entire front row gets 5,000 power for every 2 sound systems in your order zone. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the reason why that you can only play 1 sound order a turn, essentially, because the crit being able to double crit while your opponent's at grade 2 is kind of BS. This ability is fine, getting a draw in an order, and this ability will being able to again get 2 units while your Vanguard's at double crit and front load your front row with 10k while your opponent's at grade 2 would be a little bit busted, and yeah, they could restrict some of that to the opponent being at grade 3, but I can kind of see why they didn't. So either way though, it's good though, especially if you do end up going first, because you get that extra turn of crit pressure that you'll have when you go on your second grade 3 turn. You'll get a draw in your sound system, and you also get a Shadow Army token and 5k to front row. So honestly, not a bad grade 3. It's balanced. I do wish I had a little bit more dramatic flair to it, but it is what it is. And then obviously we have our Shadow Army token, which is the butterflies now. Then we have our Mega Romania. I like how it actually has the reverse R in it to represent the fact that it's bringing back reverse with locking. So continuous, the same ability as before, it cannot be played and it can only be put into order zone by the Vanguard's ability. And then auto, when put into the order zone, if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 rear guard, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards, lock it. So cool. Locks down your opponent's rear guards, not specifically in the front row, but you most likely will use the front row to prevent them from intercepting, which is great. So nice that they're bringing back locking, and this is pretty much just my theory that this deck is meant to test the waters to see if they can actually bring it back the oppressive form of locking, since messiahs don't really use it oppressively. So if this is a success, then they know kind of where they can push the boundary line with Chaos Breaker, assuming that they bring Chaos Breaker back. Then we have Stepcato Step Leon, Grid on boost, 5k shield, 8k base, contains rear guard guard circle. If your order zone has a sound system in it, this unit gets 5,000 power and 5k shield. Act on both players' turns, so 13k base and 10k shield once you have 1 sound system, so pretty decent support cards. I would say 2 over 3 of. Then we have Sing to the Sky Rochelle, grade 3 to 9% 13k base. Auto rear guard when attacks at anything, it gets 5,000 power on the battle for each sound system in your order zone, so being able to be an 18k on first swing and 23k on second swing is good. And then auto when it's returned to hand from rear guard circle during your turn, or retired from rear guard circle during your turn. If your Vanguard's an Artissa, Soul Blast 1, choose a unit, it gets 5,000 power for the turn. Cool, it can make it the Vanguard, it can make it a rear guard, it can just be balanced, which means you can use it with a bunch of Lyrical Monasterio random support cards, or it just has to be retired, which in that case you just call over it using your Artissa's Shadow Army token skill. All around, Rochelle makes for a good grade 3 support card. I mean, she swings for decent numbers for every side armor, or not for every side army, for every sound system, and she makes other units stronger as if she gets called over with a Shadow Army. Then we have Trailing Notes Reverbera, grade 1 boost, fat shield, 8k base, contains rear guard circle during your turn. If your order zone has a sound system in it, this unit gets 5,000 power, so 13k base. And then auto rear guard, at the amount that she boosted, if your order zone has a sound system in it, sharpen a soul, bounce a rear guard to hand. Okay, so if you don't want to kill Rochelle, there you go. She can just bounce herself, get 5k, and then you can superior call over her with the Vanguard skill. So honestly, cool. Get you a soul, 13k base, and combos with other support cards, so it's a solid 3 over 4 in the deck. And finally, we bring in the Devilish Flanger Lufer, grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base, auto when she's placed on rear guard circle or guard circle. If your order zone has a sound system in it, she gets 5,000 power and 5,000 shield, and auto in return to your hand from rear guard circle during your turn, or is retired from rear guard circle during your turn. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 guard Artissa, CB1 draw card. This is really just a mixture of like Lyrical Monasterio bouncing skills and then Orphis like Shadow Army token skills, which I think is great because obviously Orphis is meant to be a remnants of Link Joker, and this is more clearly supposed to be remnants of Link Joker. So being able to combine like the bouncing aspect of Lyrical Monasterio and like calling over stuff with Shadow Army token aspect of Orphis is honestly a pretty cool gimmick to me, and I actually like this deck for that, so I'm willing to give this a 4 of. And without further ado, that's it for this one. I hope all of you enjoyed. There's most likely one card that I haven't talked about yet, but that's not going to be revealed till the packs are open, and I'm not going to wait a whole hour to do that. So see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us on Twitch, and don't forget to set up your Vanguards.